This is the 13th YouTube video from It Can Happen Here, a nonpartisan organization dedicated to protecting the personal freedoms guaranteed to Americans by the Bill of Rights. In our first 12 videos, we explored the claims that Donald Trump, the Republican presidential candidate in 2024, wants to be a fascist dictator. After a dispassionate, objective analysis, we concluded that Donald Trump does indeed want to be a fascist dictator, and there's a reasonable chance he will succeed. For us, that conclusion meant that Americans could lose the personal freedoms guaranteed by the Bill of Rights, and we could quickly find ourselves living in a surveillance state like China or Russia. We believe that the risk of losing our personal freedoms to a Trump dictatorship easily outweighs all the political issues like immigration, abortion, and the economy. If we lose our freedom of speech and freedom of religion, if we become subject to warrantless searches, seizures of property and arrests, and if we no longer have public, unbiased criminal trials, we will have lost everything. All the hot-button political issues will become meaningless, and our future elections will be fascist phonies like those in Russia and China. Here's the puzzle. Even though there is a substantial risk, but not a certainty, that Trump will become a dictator and create a fascist surveillance state, 50 million Americans still say that they will vote for Trump. How can that be? There are several possibilities. First, some of them are unaware of the risk of a Trump dictatorship, or more likely, they dismiss the Democrats' claims of a threat to democracy as election year exaggerations. They don't believe those claims, just as they don't believe Trump will carry out his threats to punish his political enemies. Second, many Trump voters despise Democratic politicians because of their over-the-top kumbaya attitudes about social issues, especially the rights of migrants, transsexuals, and other minorities, while ignoring the hardships of the working class losing financial ground in our rapidly changing economy. These working-class voters perceive Donald Trump, because of his more relaxed views about racism, sexism, and other forms of discrimination, to be on their side. While they know Republican economic policies favor the rich, these Trump voters convince themselves that they were better off financially during the Trump presidency to justify their position. Third, a surge of peer pressure has formed over the past several years in American politics. There is this notion that you and your friends and family are all together on either the red team or the blue team. If you don't vote like everyone else in your family or peer group, you risk becoming an outcast or even a pariah. Many Trump voters do not fully understand or even pay attention to the political issues. Instead, they just vote the way that their noisiest friends and family tell them they should vote. Finally, some Trump voters are simply die-hard Republicans. Their party affiliation and affinity for lower taxes and less government regulation mean that they will vote for any Republican, even one who might become a dictator. Like other Trump voters, they convince themselves that Trump will not take revenge on his political opponents as he has threatened to do. So what can you do to save the Bill of Rights? Obviously, you can vote for Harris instead of Trump. Even if you disagree with Harris's liberal policies, you can safeguard your personal freedoms by voting for her. If you're worried about her liberal policies, you can vote for Republicans in Congress to keep Harris in check, and you won't have to worry about living in a surveillance state. Honestly, however, your vote might not be enough to make sure that there is no Trump dictatorship. You need to find a way to convince others to follow suit and vote against Trump. So we'll be posting a series of short videos on TikTok and other social media suggesting some strategies for persuading others, like lie to your friends about Trump and tell her to lie to her husband. See you there.